Since 1980, I can count the number of good economic policies implemented by the Zimbabwean government on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers. Let me catch you up to speed with Zimbabwe's currency situation. In a little over 40 years, close to 100 different banknotes have been issued, and among these is the infamous $100 trillion note. 25 zeros have been struck off because, well, you can't fit all those zeros on one piece of paper. We've had a currency that is not a currency, and another one that is backed up by gold and other assets. Who cares about the laws of economics when you can just print money and make everyone a trillionaire? Hi, I'm a clueless pundit, and today we're going to be discussing the 5 times the Zimbabwean government violated basic laws of economics to combat hyperinflation. Number 5. Gold coins. In 2022, Zimbabwe's inflation rate had jumped to 131.7%. Things were getting out of hand, and the country's central bank wanted to fix things. Their solution was to just give people gold coins to use. You remember there was a period where they were flirting with the idea of getting rid of the US dollar, and they said, hey, how about we just give people gold?
Yeah,
They can just use gold to pay for stuff.
I recall.
This is an 1 ounce of fine gold coin released in 2022. I wouldn't mind having my hands on some gold.
Some fine gold.
Some have said that these gold coins are a step in the right direction. Despite the positive feedback, these coins still remain out of reach for the average Zimbabwean. I don't think Gogonue in Cholocho or Sekuru Hlachwayo in Chipinge there can afford to buy these gold coins. Just take a look at these prices. Number 4. Travelers' cheques. 2003 was a time of turmoil in Zimbabwe. So was every year after that. But the inflation rate was somewhere north of 600%. It was becoming increasingly difficult to keep up with soaring prices, which led the central bank to print high denominations. So this guy isn't even a full-time governor, he's already printing money. 10,000.
Oh my word. Yo.
50,000.
You did not stop. You went on.
And then there was a $100,000 note.
Wow.
The travelers' cheques were eventually succeeded by the now infamous bearers' cheques. We'll talk about those a little bit later. Number 3. The RTGS dollar, or the bond note. A stable economy and Zimbabwe in the same sentence. Sounds like an oxymoron. But in 2014, Zimbabwe actually had a stable economy. Shops were full, business was booming, and the inflation rate was minus 0.8%. Yes, a negative inflation rate.
It's created a conundrum for local business people, big or small. But economic experts say the sooner it is resolved, the better for the economy.
At this time, the country had abandoned its record-setting Zimbabwean dollar.
Zimbabwe is the only country with a $10 million bearers cheque.
It's now become so worthless, no one wants it. And in here, no one's using it.
Now, if the country's central bank had just left things as they were, I probably wouldn't be making this video. But they decided to issue bond coins and bond notes. With these bond notes, they had the full liberty to print as many as they wanted. And print, they did. The introduction of the bond notes quickly fixed the country's unwanted situation of having a negative inflation rate. And in 2022, things had returned to normal. To date, nobody still knows if the bond note is a currency or not. Remember, it started off as a way of solving the change problem
So it's not a current, it's for easy changing.
And then it became an export incentive. And then, you know what? We'll let the founder of this mysterious branch of economics explain.
The money in Zimbabwe is on a platform called RTGS. They just call it RTGS dollars, which now combines the fiat currency of the RTGS dollars. It means that the bond notes and bond coins become the fiat currency of the RTGS dollars. Just like the US dollars, they are also a fiat currency of the US dollar, of the Nostro dollars. The fiat currency is the tangible currency of a currency. The fiat currency is the tangible currency of a currency. That's exactly what happened. So when people ask, why about RTGS dollars? Why not whatever? Very simple. Did we bring a new currency? No. No. We called it by what you are having in your accounts.
Number 2, the ZIG. In 2024, the country abandoned the failed bond note. But if you ask former Reserve Bank Governor Mr. John Mangudya, the bond note did not fail.
So in 2016, they were saying the bond note is exactly 1-to-1 with the US dollar. 2018, hey, it's not 1-to-1, it's now 1-to-3. If you had US dollars in your bank, they had already been converted into bond notes. And by this time, they were now starting to lose value.
I don't believe that the bond notes failed. There is no one who ever come to me with evidence that bond notes failed. Bond note was a purpose for the export incentive scheme. This economy increased exports during that period of 2016, 2018. Yes. Did the inflation go up during the bond note? No, did not.
I went to the RBZ website and I took a look at the inflation figures. And as you can see, 2016 it says minus 1.6, 2017 is 0.9, and 2018 10.6. So this is the period in question. And as you can see, there is a gradual increase in the annual inflation figures there. By the time you get to January 2019, the inflation rate is now 56.9.
Okay. That's enough. Let's get back on topic. Mangudya's bond notes were eventually replaced by the ZIG, a gold-backed currency. At least that's the story that they're telling the citizens. Whether the people believe the story or not is irrelevant, because if you're in Zimbabwe, you have no choice. You must use the ZIG. Now, if you don't, they'll give you a nickname. They'll call you an economic saboteur, a Western puppet, or a Rhodesian sympathizer. But I don't think that's a bad one. The Rhodesian dollar worked. And if you're unlucky, they will... Pandag Farisa. Yeah, it's time to shut up. You know what? The ZIG works.
I'd like to think this is the first note ever printed in the world with a QR code.
It's got a QR code.
The Reserve Bank governor was quoted saying that they are going to release new world-class notes to replace these ones. So these ones are not world-class, but the ones that are coming after
A world class.
they are world-class.
Can't
wait. Can't wait.
Number 1, everything they tried between 2006 and 2009. In 2008, Zimbabwe's inflation rate was hovering above. Nobody knows, nobody cares. It was high. They tried bearers checks.
Bearers
Data check.
250 million. 500 million. At the end of the printing, Gono was now sitting on 29 new bearers checks. 29. But we weren't done. Because
They tried special agro checks.
$5 billion note. So we're skipping from 500 million and we're going to $5 billion. What? 25 billion. 50 billion. 100 billion. Gideon Gono now sits at 33 new bearers checks.
Even cancelling the zeros. 25 of them.
fine. Let's get rid of some of these zeros. How about we get rid of 3? Ridiculous. They need to save face. So what are they going to do? They're going to chop off 10 zeros. He was so ashamed of printing a quadrillion dollar note that he decided to chop off 12 zeros.
Let's do it again.
Records were set during this time.
I want him 100 trillion.
I didn't even know it got to that.
This is a record. The largest note ever printed.
We are not a British colony. Come on, you must know that. Tell him again. Idiots.
Zimbabweans became starving millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires. If you enjoyed this list, then you may like our full review of Zimbabwe's extensive catalogue of banknotes right here. Yeah, it's pretty long, so only click if you like long form stuff. And if you like short form stuff, click over here. We've got a playlist of short videos. And hey, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and tell other people about it. Cheers.